Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the School of Performing Arts Alumni Artist Legacy Series. I am your host, Dr. Lori Celeste Hicks, Chair of Performing Arts here at Kentucky State University, and I am also a Thoroughbred Artist alumni. We are here to highlight former thoroughbreds who have made significant contributions in the areas of music, art, theater, and dance. For our first guest, we will highlight none other than Angela Birchett, rising star in Broadway and television, and most recently known for her breakout role as Jackie Clark Chisholm in the Lifetime movie, you guessed it, The Clark Sisters. I will read her bio at this time, and she will be joining us in just a moment. Angela Birchett is said by many to be, quote, an incredibly connected singer with vocal skills as that of a master angler, end quote. She is a seasoned lead vocalist and has appeared in musical offerings that span musical theater, classical, jazz, gospel, and pop worlds. She hails from none other than Detroit, Michigan. She has been featured at various New York City nightlife venues and is the host of the electrifying Monday night curated open mic, Lights Out on Broadway, in the heart of Times Square. Angela made her Broadway debut in 2015 as the Tony Award-winning revival of The Color Purple, and has several regional and touring credits, including Dreamgirls as Effie White, Once on This Island as Asaka, and Smokey Joe's Cafe. Television credits include CBS's Kevin Can Wait and NBC's Blind Spot. And of course, you know her from the Clark Sisters movie, The First Lady of Gospel as Jackie Clark Chisholm, which reached 11 million viewers in its opening weekend, making it the most viewed premiere on cable television of 2020. Without further ado, let's welcome Angela Birchett.
Here she is. It's Ann. Hey, Apple.
Hey, Dr. Hicks.
So how you doing? How's it going?
Even better now that I have my coffee in a certain kind of mug.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
That's a blessed coffee right there. That's
It is.
Java. So let's jump right on in here.
All right.
And I've already read your bio. So if the people didn't know, they know now, and they better know. They better learn. Okay. Yes. So tell us really briefly all the ensembles and things that you participated in at Kentucky State, and what your life was like.
Yes. So during my matriculation at Kentucky State, I was a member of the concert choir. Yes, see. And I was Miss Kentucky State University 2001. So this is my 20-year anniversary of that. Yes, I'm excited to celebrate that however we do with this fall for homecoming. I also sang in a wonderful group. We had several different names throughout our time. Also included Dr. Hicks. We go way back, way before Kentucky State. And I was Miss Freshman. I was Miss Concert Choir. I was a music education and vocal performance double major. I used both of those degrees fully to this day. Over, I don't know how many years it's been now since graduation, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would not have chosen any other place to go, and I would not have chosen to not go to an HBCU because I was the type of kid coming into school who came from like a very sheltered, religious background, and I'm grateful that I had a place to go that was still kind of that, kind of family oriented. It wasn't so distant. that it really helped me come out of my shell in a lot of ways. It literally created the landscape for, continued to create the landscape for who I am as a performer, because I had so many opportunities and so many varied opportunities to perform different things and learn from some of the best people, and both as my professors and instructors, but colleagues, friends that were right alongside me, you know, studying and learning and growing just like I did. It was a wonderful time to leave a large city, northern city, and go to a whole different culture, city size, but within that still being in an environment where it was all about my Blackness and my sense of community as an African American, taught by predominantly Black instructors. Lots of my curriculum had an African American flair. And so, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but
you forgot the honors college. You were in Whitney Young as well.
Oh my God, I forgot. I mean, not for very long, but I was in the Whitney Young program, and I just had such a great time, just learning about myself and that world around me while I was at Kentucky State.
So why did you choose Kentucky State?
Well, the high school that I went to, also where Dr. Hicks attended, every year our choir, who was a very advanced, pretty semi-professional, performing ensemble, toured every year, different HBCUs, because our instructor, the amazing, the incomparable Nana Sky, was committed to exposing us to the historically Black college and university experience, and not just one. We went to so many different ones, and so every year Kentucky State was always our first stop and always a stop on the tour. And something about the campus and the choir and the yard and just this true sense of family, I felt there that I didn't feel anywhere else. And we visited amazing schools, so I don't want to take anything away from the other places, but Kentucky State just had a special feeling, of a special energy that I knew I had to be a part of. And then, of course, when I first heard the concert choir, and back then in the that time, it was like nobody could even see us. Like they just, there was nowhere else that was comparable. And so, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I was so drawn to the music department and Dr. Smith, and just the sense of community. I liked the campus size. It wasn't too overwhelming. I just liked the setup of it. It wasn't too far, out there that I feel like I couldn't handle.
What was your first memory of the campus, of when you stepped on campus as a freshman?
Oh, man. So first of all, I was excited because we had to come back to school. We had to come to school early because we started rehearsal with concert choir. So that kind of gave me a chance to take in the campus before the rush of freshman orientation and everybody being on campus, including the returning students. And so I had two really strong memories. When I first walked from my dorm to Bradford Hall to the first rehearsal. This is where I was going to officially start my life as a college student and a member, well, not a member of concert choir, I wasn't a member of concert choir yet. That don't come to the end of the school yet. But I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I'm in college, away from home, with all these other Black kids, and I'm about to be a part of this choir that I just thought just was the best thing I had ever heard. And so walking into that rehearsal, and everybody, returning students already knew each other. But of course, there was a, group of us that all came in together. So we had each other. Oh, I feel like it's gonna make me cry. Oh, we had each other because, I don't know what it would have felt like to not have y'all and be walking in there alone. Because there's already, how we are, it's already a family. So I felt like I'm walking to a new family, but I have my family with me. And so we all were together and walked in that door, and I'll never forget that moment of just being like, wow. So my other really cool memory is the first time that I was on campus, because the band comes back, I believe, like even before we do. Like they're there before we are, because they're like getting ready for homecoming and the boot camp or whatever. And I remember the first time that I was out in the yard, I probably heading to Bradford or getting some food in the caf or something, and I heard this like thunderous music. I'm like, what is that? And it's the band coming through campus, just playing their hearts out, and everybody's out in the yard. And I'm just like, this is insane! What is this? What's happening now? And they were jamming. Of course, I remember what they were playing back in 1997, but I'm sure it was something like super cool. And I just remember we all just standing out in the yard dancing, and then like, I was probably with you, and just like, oh my God! I mean, I don't think there was ever more exciting time other than my time as Miss Kentucky State as my first encounter as a freshman on the campus of Kentucky State University. I don't know anything that really can top that.
Oh, it warms the heart. Do you remember any professors you remember specifically that were right in there with your development and helped launch you to who you are now?
Yes, I would have to be, without a doubt, Mr. Andrew Smith. God rest his soul, who was one of our distinguished alum. And my draw to him, outside of him being my voice teacher and just getting to know him over the years, because he was my same voice teacher. I never switched. I had him from day one to the day I graduated. And I think what drew me so much to him was that I felt like he was one of the, if not the only one, that really had a worldly perspective, because he had done the New York thing. He had worked at the Met. He had traveled the world. He made a living as a full-time performer. And being a student, to have a teacher that is not just good at what they teach, but they also practice what they preach. I especially as I got older, matriculated, and started really realizing, okay, I think ultimately where I want to go is different from education, and I want to be in New York. I always had him to talk to about that and hear his stories, and he connected me to which remind me, I have such a full circle moment story about that. Of that concept, but he would connect me to his friends that are like big time. I didn't realize at the time who they were, but they were like these big time people in New York that he just would connect me to. And so alongside that, with his instruction and how he presented the vocal, I call it the vocal technique of placement, alignment, he taught me, and I don't know that he ever was super specific about it, because he really was about me singing classical. But what I got from it in hindsight was this technique was what was literally going to be like my holy grail as I traveled through life with whatever I decided to sing. I don't know that I fully understood that or recognized it at the time, but I've come to know that what he was teaching me as a singer, as a vocalist, as an artist, was something that was going to transcend whatever I decided to do. And I think in his heart, he kind of knew that I was going to do whatever I was going to do. So he wanted me to be as equipped and versatile as possible. And I think that's what made him my favorite, that special person for me. Even though we would duke it out about, me singing gospel, and, even in college while learning, I was still not necessarily getting the grasp of how to use the technique for every type of genre that I wanted to sing. But he knew my heart, even if he didn't agree with what I wanted to ultimately do. He empowered me. He knew that. Yeah. He made me feel like you can do whatever you want to do, but do it with excellence and do it knowing what you're doing. Don't just be out here just doing stuff. And so it was just along those lines. It was a full circle moment. A couple of years ago, I was in Chicago on tour with The Color Purple, and the show Waitress was also in Chicago at a different theater at the same time, and I have tons of friends in that show. So I happened to meet up with some friends on a 2-show day. We both had 2 shows, so our lunch breaks were the same. Met up, and while I was waiting for them, Larry Marshall comes out the stage door. And I forgot that he was in that show. He did it he replaced somebody during the time on Broadway, and then he did the tour. He played the old man in the show. And I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Marshall, I don't know if you remember me. He said, oh, honey, I remember you. You one of Andrew's kids. And I said, yep. And I'm grown. Like, I have worked. I have done the things. But I felt this like, and we had just lost Mr. Smith, just earlier that year, because he passed away while I was on, like not too long before that. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm so proud of you. And I know he's proud of you. He's up there proud of you too. And I said, I miss him so much. He said, I miss him too.
Is there another experience that you recall that has helped shape you as an artist?
You know, my time as being Miss Kentucky State really helped me with like confidence, because I had to figure out how to, and not just Miss Kentucky State, but all the chances that I had to perform with our group, by myself, pageants and stuff. It really helped me figure out who I was on stage. Because I think a lot of people, that's hard to translate for them. There is an energy that's different when you're on stage than when you're just like hanging out. And honest to God, it has literally carried me through interviews and filming things and all kinds of things. I was doing a panel with Jamie Foxx, was our moderator, and he asked me something about something, and I just honestly just spoke from my heart, and he was like, I love to hear you talk. Like the way you talk about something is so poignant. Like you are like a really great speaker. And I was so flattered by him saying that. I mean, it's Jamie Foxx, who, you know, is just an incredible talent and actor and performer and singer and all the things. But it's my time. It made me reflect on my time at Kentucky State, where we always were taught how to be poised. And when you get on stage, you do you, like be fully you. Don't get up there doing something else. Look nice. Respect yourself. Demand respect from other people. Be prepared. Don't be just getting up here winging it. You know, that's not it. And all those performance opportunities, being Miss Kentucky State, where I had to address the student body several times. I had to talk to young women. I had to, you know, represent my university on a national level, where I was literally being interviewed and judged based on my poise and my speaking and my performance. All of those things. My time, particularly as a music student, as a performing major, because you know what I did a lot of was performing. All of those things were needed for me to be able to do those things then, and definitely now, where it's so it really comes easily to me. And I don't say that to be brag or anything, but a lot of people, they struggle with that. Even people who are actors and people who do this for a living, when you ask them to speak or do something that's their own, it's not a script or something, they clam up. They're not comfortable. But Kentucky State literally broke me of that. Any trepidation I had, it broke me of that.
Yeah. Can you think of any challenges or difficulties that you had while as a student that you had to overcome?
I think one of the things, which is so odd because I am such a stickler for it now, but in school, I had a hard time being on time. And I am a absolute stickler for that now. And I think what helped me in that process while I was there was honestly seeing my peers take their education seriously. It wasn't the lectures from the professors, because it was like your parents. They gonna just keep and then most of the time went in one ear, not the other. You know, if I'm being honest about it. but watching people like you, for example, who I've always felt, I am just so emotional these days. I don't know why just talking about stuff makes me want to cry. Jesus, it's so annoying sometimes.
Oh, good.
But watching you, you in particular, be so honoring your craft and honoring your gifts and demanding that anybody around you, when doing what you do, that they step up to the bar that you set. So it's no surprise that you are in the position you're in now and that you've done all that you've done, because since we were kids, you've always made me want to step my game up and like,
oh my God,
be better. Don't just settle to just get by. And I still have to work on that stuff, but like, I don't
girl,
know that
I'm still working on it.
Girl, well, you can't tell. But you have always set a standard for yourself, for the people around you, the people you work with. And so that was really what made me, and my other friends like you, made me say, okay, Birchett, you got to get it together. You here, you ain't really got to pay for nothing. Just do your best. And that was what kind of motivated me and started me on that path of, by the time I graduated, I felt like I had like a better grasp on like how to deal with if I don't understand something, not being afraid to ask for help, time management. Like I really started getting like anal about that. And to this day, I am very much a planner. I do not do well with like on the fly things unless it's an on the fly thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love a plan. I love preparation, and all those things. Like you guys, my teachers who were like, you don't get to wait until the last minute. Like you can try that, but your grades are going to reflect it. And after that happened once or twice, I was like, oh, no. I'm not about to ruin this. And, but definitely a challenge that, a big challenge I had, and then sometimes it still kind of is theory. Because, music that's the foundation, because it helps you to be broad. You have more vocabulary when you understand how the theoretical, the theory behind, I use the word theory, but you know what I'm saying? Like the if you want to create, that is where you have a template, because the combinations of things, the way you want to do things is endless, because you can there's a framework for it that you can explain. It helps you teach it better. And so it was hard because Dr. Moore was just hard. He was just one of those people that I was just like, okay, well, I don't understand this. And I would go to him and he would literally say, well, maybe you should ask one of your colleagues out, because I have explained this and my office hours are over now. So have a great day. And so kind and polite, but we'll see you on your way.
It is really amazing that, you being as talented naturally as you have been your whole life, and all the singing that you've been doing, that you really put that importance on the practice and the preparation and all of that.
So the thing is, because whenever I'm in talkbacks after shows, or I'm, talking to students, and I encounter a lot of people who have natural ability. They are gifted. And they're used to that natural ability getting them a long way.
Yeah.
I'm so imperative. It's so imperative to me, and I'm such a stickler about making sure I communicate the fact that, yes, natural ability and natural instincts as a singer or an actor, or a performer that you handle the stage very well, will only get you so far. Yeah. It just is the way it is, because you're going to encounter a project that's outside of your wheelhouse, that's outside of your skill set, that's going to require you to have some type of foundation, some type of fundamental knowledge that your natural instinct can't take you, can't get you to. Particularly, I talk about this as an actor to aspiring actors, and it's still inspiring actor, and I've been an actor for a while now. I've always had natural instincts. But just like music, there is a structure, there's a technique, there is a format that once you understand that, you can take your natural inclination and your natural gifting and like it just goes through the roof. So I say all that to say, while there's more than one way to skin a cat, you don't necessarily have to go to a conservatory. You can go right to Kentucky State University and get everything you need. There are still going to be things that you have to seek out. And once you know what it is you need, you're going to have to practice them and do them and do them and do them again and then do them again until it becomes second nature. You're going to have to understand the theory and the intention behind things, because otherwise you're going to get yourself caught out there down the road when you're playing a role or you're singing a role that is you're not equipped for. Not because you don't have the facility or the agility or the ability, but you just lack the foundation, and everything has a foundation. So you can't forsake that because your natural gifting is so strong. Jamie Foxx, I just go back to him because he's on my mind. He's one of those people that has natural giftings in a multitude of things. But you better know that man got the best teachers and coaches to play roles, because your natural gift is only going to get you so far when you're outside of your comfort zone. And that's what I want students to take seriously, because I think they don't take it seriously until they're met with the challenge. Yeah. It's too late by then. Yeah. It's too late to go grabbing tools. Ooh. It's too late. You got to already have that thing in your body, in your muscle memory, just like your natural giftings are, because that's where you see the work. People think these singers that we love and regard, you think they just can sing? Yes, they can sing, but they spend hours with a teacher. They've been on the Met stage and come off that stage and go in class. Yep. Alvin Ailey dancers take class every day. They take class every day. They have concerts every night. They tour the world and they have class every morning. I'm talking about the company that we watch, that we see. They take a dance class every day. Vocal masters have a teacher. Oscar winners have coaches that they call. So it never ends. You have to take that seriously. You have to commit to that, because that's what it makes you makes you go from great to unstoppable. No, serious artists do not play around until we find it. We go where we need to go and get what we got to get.
Oh, that's a word. Oh, what is one thing you would tell yourself, your 18-year-old self, when you first started at Kentucky State?
Girl, first of all, girls, stop tripping about wearing a gown that don't got sleeves. Wear that thing. Your arms are big. We can see them that they're big with sleeves. So it's fine. Wear it. I remember having such a complex. Girl, now I got a little spaghetti strap top.
All day.
All day. I'm hot and I'm cute. So I'm going to wear my arms out. But no, I'm being funny, but I would say to my 18-year-old self, fully love your body, whatever state it's in. What are you covering up for? Like, if you are a size 18, be a size 18. Find you cute outfits, strut. You don't have to wait until I was under this impression that, once I'm smaller, then everything's gonna be amazing. No, that's not true. And I think just me spiritually and mentally would be maybe in a different place sooner had I got that at 18. But just walk in who you are. Walk in the fullness of your fluffy arms, your extra if you got it, or not. If you extra thin, walk in that, you know? Yeah. Don't let society dictate what's beautiful. Make who you are beautiful to you before anybody you try to look for somebody else to give a stamp of approval. I would also say you don't have to wait for permission or the time to be right to really go after your dreams. Okay. You can, 18-year-old Angela, you can do it right now. There's no, some people may have an issue with it or disagree. That's okay. That doesn't have to stop you from pursuing what you want to pursue fully, whatever that is. Not necessarily even career, just your life, whatever that is. You don't have to be so hung up on doing everything right or doing things that you think people will say, okay, that's the right thing to do. Good. I'm not saying be rebellious or defiant or be stupid, but you know, if you have a dream in you or you something that you really see for yourself and you feel strongly about it and you're willing to do the work for it, do it. Everyone else will get on board at some point. And if they don't, it's fine too. And I think probably the third thing is trust your voice. Trust your voice. Trust your singing voice too. Trust that what you're giving, because it's coming from a real genuine place, it'll reach who it needs to reach. You don't have to try to fit into a box or fit into a genre or be something you're not to get your voice across. It will go out and go where it needs to go. And who it's not for is not for.
Yeah. Other thing. Okay, so when you graduated and it's like, okay, it's time to start my life. What, because obviously you didn't go from Kentucky State to Broadway.
Right.
So, you know, what steps did you take to get to follow those dreams, whether they were traditional or not?
Well, yeah, I kind of had a roundabout way of getting here. And I think a lot of it comes from my propensity to kind of play it safe sometimes. Not as much now as I'm older, but back then for sure. You know, studying what I studied felt like the sure thing. Like, okay, I'm studying education. You know, I know when I get out of school, I have a job. When I got out of school, I had a job. I had like about a year where I had to kind of wait because I graduated in the fall, or winter.
That's right.
So I had, you know, that school year was already in session. So I had to wait, you know, a year. So of course I had a little shakiness with like, you know, finding work and stuff until, but, you know, did that. And giving back to students, particularly when we worked on theater and musical theater, really rekindled that. Oh man, like I really love this. I was teaching K through 8 music, vocal music, and I also kind of had a musical theater program too, because we did musicals as well. And I was like, I did all of that. Like we had an acting theater department, but they didn't really do the musical theater stuff. It was just me. They assisted otherwise. But doing that really was like, okay, it was just this hounding on me. Like you gotta do this, and time is ticking, and you know, and just a series of events that really wasn't even my doing happened that slowly and then really fast shot me into being in New York. But I'm grateful because having the degree, having the experience, definitely got me through times when I wasn't working, I wasn't booking a show. But when especially out here, because there's such a shortage for good teachers, there's so many students, there's so many schools, that when places find a person who, you know, is degreed, is certified with classroom experience, they're like, please come. But I use that example to say that really was, it kind of reassured me, because I knew if something changed or I, you know, didn't want to do performing, I could be an educator. But I knew that this was going to be what I was doing. And it just took a lot of just guts and learning how to hustle, like really use every avenue that I had to make my money, to get exposure, to build relationships, which has been so critical for my career. My career is literally based on the relationships that I've built over the years that I've been in New York. It'll be 15 years, Jesus. In January, it'll be 15 years that I've been here.
Girl, I remember.
I remember one day I was on 6th Avenue and 23rd Street. I'll never forget. And I called my best friend. Her name is Andrea. She's an amazing actress, and we met on the road. She's from Detroit. And I called her because I had 23 cents in my darn bank account. Didn't even have enough to buy a swipe to get on the train. And I was sitting on the curb in Chelsea, that's the neighborhood. And I was just in tears. And I said, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. And she said, but Ange, you're so close. And I think not even 6 months later, I booked Broadway.
Yep.
And I had been doing bands for years before. And I was like, I didn't come out here to be a wedding band singer. Make great money, comfortable life, but I could do this anywhere. I ain't got to be here doing that. And that's why support and a village and it's so important, because there were times when I just wanted to say, maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. And God said, no, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. I got to take you on this path, because it's without these things, these challenges, it's not going to mean as much to you. It's not going to make you the performer that you're going to be without this journey. Because I don't want to call it struggle or any of that, because it all works together, you know? I've had so many days I remember going to an audition with the stomach flu. I woke up throwing up, but it was a show I really wanted to be a part of. And I went in, and I mean, literally and I'm belting, because this show was like a big body, big power song show. And I remember trying to keep the vomit down in the audition. And the casting director didn't even look up. She had determined when I walked in the room, I wasn't the right fit for the show. Did I let that stop me? No. And I sang my heart out. And what I didn't know, and these are Broadway giants now that are friends of mine. They could see me from another window they couldn't hear me, but they could see me. And so I'm getting texts girl, you over there singing. I know you over there. And that encouraged me. I went home and I sat on my couch and I just cried, because I was so frustrated. And again, about 3 months later, I got the call for the audition for Color Purple and booked it. So I'm saying all these things to say, your challenges, your obstacles, your unconventional way of pursuing things, those all work together. You need them all. You can use them all. Even terrible things that happen to you. I remember doing a show after having just a really traumatic personal time in my life. And it was some of the best acting I've ever done, because I had a real life experience to draw from. And one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my career was from someone who said, Ange, I don't mean to offend you, but I just had to tell you, I've always known you as a singer. And you are just one of the most compelling actors I've ever seen. I didn't know. And coming from this particular person, it blew me away. And he didn't know this. I was going through one of the hardest times in my life, and I had to get on that stage 8 times a week and pull from a situation that was actually happening in the show to do it. And I don't take it for granted. I don't regret it. And it made me stronger, because I couldn't rely on my singing, because this role was very little singing. This was one of the actor roles in a musical. And I learned that 3 months, use it all. Use your failures, or your perceived failures. Use your mistakes. Use your challenges. Use your failures. Use your frustrations. Use your anger. Use your rage. Use your all the things, because they're all gonna come up, and you're gonna need them.
Girl, you pour it into me right now. Okay.
Oh, okay, Lord. I can't take it when you get emotional.
Okay. Last question. What advice would you give? Advice would you give future thoroughbreds and current thoroughbred students?
Take in every moment of your time. If you've decided to go to Kentucky State University, or if you're on the fence, make the choice and then fully commit to every experience. Don't get caught up have a balance. Don't get so caught up in the college life. Enjoy your college life. Enjoy your parties and your sports things and being in a sorority fraternity if that's what you choose to do. All those things. But really use the time to figure out what type of learner you are. What speaks to you? What inspires you? Ask all the questions. Don't be afraid to fail. Oh, I just wish I had learned that. Don't be afraid to fail, because life is not all about victories all the time. Sometimes you can't get to victories if you don't fail. In a place like Kentucky State, what I love about it is it will be there to catch you when you fall. Other places don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Kentucky State is going to care about you. They are prepared for you to fall. So they can say, come on, baby, you got this. You got this. If I got to hold your hand through these 4 years, you can do it. And so my charge to students is to lean in to each other. Lean into the people, the professors. Now there are some that are just there to get a check. That's everywhere. I'm keeping it all the way above. Yeah. That's everywhere. But there are people like Dr. Hicks, people that are there to get you to where you're trying to go. There are going to be colleagues that are going to need what's inside of you to help them. Mm-hmm. You don't know what people are going through. We got kids out here committing suicide and getting hooked on drugs and all this stuff because they don't feel like they got somebody that's going to hold their hand. So don't think you don't got nobody. At Kentucky State, you got a whole place that's for you, by you, designed for you. So my advice is lean into that. Don't let frustration and because you can't get something right away make you say forget it or you check out. Don't check out. Don't phone it in. Apply yourself. Fully take advantage of all the things that are being offered to you. Fully engage them because you're not gonna be able to go back and say, oh, I wish I had ... when I was at K-State, because it'll be over. Lori and I been out of school for years and it feels like yesterday. We don't get to go back. All we can do is go forward. And you have her there. She is a product of Kentucky State University. She's not just somebody they found and brought there. Mm-hmm. So she's already there for you because she cares about you and she cares about the university and the program. So please, future, current, all those thoroughbreds, please, all those things, do them all. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your time. Take with you when you leave the love that you have for your university. Don't forget it. And don't forget about her when you move out into your life and into the world and into your careers. She needs you just as much as you needed her.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
Ooh, that got me. I preach it to myself. Even
right. Right. What God can do. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
We miss you, but we are so tremendously proud of you. You wear the Kentucky State name with pride. You are the true sense of the thoroughbred. You go and we go together. Mm-hmm. And you have poured back into us, and we thank you. We are excited. We can't wait to see what you have coming next.
Me too, child.
Right.
Pandemic. That corona done shook up everything. Everybody.
I appreciate you.
Oh, you. I love you.
I love you too. All right, go and get some rest. Tell the family I said hi. Tell mom and dad I said hi.
I will.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.